8th grade life science. Now let's look at Punnett Squares. What's the chance of a coin landing on heads? There is always a 50-50 chance that a coin will land on heads. Half the time it will land on heads and half the time it will land on tails. What is the chance of it landing on heads twice in a row, or 3 times in a row? These rules of probability also apply to genetics. A parent only gives one factor for each trait to an offspring. If a parent has one dominant and one recessive factor for a trait, then on average, half the time the dominant factor will be passed on and half the time the recessive factor will be passed on. Probability in Punnett squares. A Punnett square is a special tool derived from the laws of probability. It is used to predict the possible offspring from a cross or mating between 2 parents. An example of a Punnett square, shown here, shows the results of a cross between 2 purple flowers that each have one dominant factor and one recessive factor. The Punnett square of a cross between 2 heterozygous purple flowers. Heterozygous means that it has one dominant factor and one recessive factor. The Punnett square of a cross between 2 purple flowers with factors capital B and lowercase b, or a heterozygous purple flower. A Punnett square can be used to calculate what percentage of offspring will have a certain trait. To create a Punnett square, perform the following steps. Take the factors from the first parent and place them at the top of the square, capital B and lowercase b. Take the factors from the second parent and line them up on the left side of the square, again capital B and lowercase b in this case. Pull the factors from the top into the boxes below. Then pull the factors from the side into the boxes next to them. The possible offspring are represented by the letters in the boxes with one factor coming from each parent. So your results, in the top left box you'll have 2 capital B's, or a purple flower. In the top right box you'll have a capital B, a lowercase b, which will still be a purple flower. The left lower box will be capital B, lowercase b, again a purple flower. And the lower right box will be lowercase, which means it'll be a white flower. Only one of the 4 plants will have white flowers, which is 25%. The other 75% will have purple flowers, because the purple factor, capital B, is the dominant factor, and it shows up in 3 of the 4. This shows the color purple is the dominant trait in pea plants. Now imagine you cross one of the white flowers, 2 lowercase b's, with a purple flower that has both a dominant and recessive factor, so it's capital B, lowercase b. The only possible gamete the white flower can give is recessive, the lowercase b, while the purple flower has 2 gametes that it can give, either the dominant or the recessive. So when you fill this out, did you find 50% of the offspring will be purple and 50% of the offspring will be white? Okay, so let's summarize. A Punnett square is a special tool used to predict the offspring from a cross, or mating between 2 parents. In a Punnett square, the possible offspring are represented by the letters in boxes, with one factor coming from each of the parents.